Dearly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, we just ask for your guidance today, and we pray for our county. We pray for all of those our tornado survivors that are continuing to rebuild out there. We pray for our first responders, and Lord, just like I said, just continue to guide us and keep us in your will. And we just pray all these things in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go ahead and call Marshall County Fiscal Court to order, June 21st, 2022. First on their guests, Parks Director Brittany Hargrove. Good morning.
Okay, I've got all kinds of good news today too that we can share. So, first of all, you guys know that we have been doing during the months of May and June. We got the match from the Lions Club for up to $5,000. Anything that we raised up to $5,000, the Calvert Lions Club would match. We have got several shirt orders that have been placed, bulk orders that have to be picked up. And as soon as those are picked up, we will have officially met our $5,000 goal, which is absolutely amazing. So the Calvert Lions Club will match that, and that will be $10,000 that has come in during the months of May and June for the Miracle League. So that was great news that I wanted to share with you guys right off the bat. The second thing is our tennis clinics that we're doing have been going so great. We originally had talked about there was a grant from USTA to help us, put on these clinics and be able to fund that. We had originally requested $1,500 because of the great turnout that we are having. We have 80 kids coming every Monday for tennis clinics. We actually got the grant for $2,500 from USDA. So we are now going to be able to purchase all of our own equipment. What we're using right now is on loan from USDA. So we're going to be able to buy all of the equipment, temporary nets. We will have money in there for marketing to help pay for extra instructors if we need them. All of that money has come in from USTA to be able to fund that for this upcoming year. So that was a huge thing. I want to give a shout out to Robin, our recreation coordinator. She is the one that has kind of run with that from the beginning. She learned about USTA and their tennis programs at one of those conferences that we went to, and she is the one that has spearheaded this whole thing. And so I want to make sure that she gets the credit that she deserves on that, because she's done a really great job with that program for sure. Playing the parks are going really, really great. We've had to make some modifications because of this crazy heat index that we've had going on, but we're still trucking along and they're still going really good. Overall, everybody is so excited that we are offering these kind of programs and things for free for kids at the park, and they're going really, really great. The other thing that you've got is going to be the updated estimates on the dock at Rocky Point. When I talked to them, they said that last quote that we had gotten was based on the state of the dock pre-December. And they had been updated to adjust for the rising costs and everything, but this is what we're looking at now for the dock. If you look at those, you can see it's only a few $1,000s difference between doing all of the repairs that need to be done and then actually just taking the entire thing out, anchors, posts, all of that, and starting over. So that is over the $30,000 threshold now. So that is something that we would need to, I'm assuming, to accept bids on for Rocky Point moving forward. But we did talk to Laurel. There are safe funds that we got that are specific to wet debris, because Rocky Point was kind of the hub for Living Lands during all of the debris recovery from the water. Then this dock area should qualify for those safe funds, and we'll be able to do that without having to worry about budgeting for this from the court. So I wanted to show you that. I'm assuming we will need to move forward with the procurement process and accept bids on that project, but at least we do have funds that we can cover that from, since a lot of that damage happened as a result of the tornado on the 10th.
Yeah, so if that's the discretion of the court's intent, we would need a action item for going to bids for Rocky Point.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The funding of that, if Laurel says that it qualifies, which I know she's talked about it, I'm familiar with it, but the line of credit could be the same line of credit that we've been using for the disaster to fund whichever one. Did we make a decision? I think that's another thing we need to do is make a decision on the what project.
My suggestion is that for no more difference than it is, I would personally prefer to go ahead and get an entirely new. Rocky Point is used a lot, especially by locals in the area. That's a really high traffic place. And the way the lake is set up in that area, it gets a lot of, that water is kind of rough on that area anyway. So my suggestion would be to go ahead and go with a fully new structure on it. Yeah.
The new construction, is that tearing out everything, the posts
Yes.
that go into the lake, all
Yes.
of it? Because I know they appeared
Yes.
to be deteriorated.
Yes.
And the water was down.
That is completely tearing the whole thing out and starting from scratch.
Now, the big question.
Yes.
Did they indicate how far out they are?
Yes, so I did talk to him about that. It looks like September is when he could get to it. His suggestion, though, was if we are going to go with a completely new, redoing the entire thing, that he could go ahead and get a barge out there, a crew out there to get everything taken out for right now so that we are limiting our liability and any hazards that we have with that staying out there for right now. So they could go ahead and get it all stripped out and taken out of there until they can get to it in September to actually put the new in.
So which one of these options is it?
One says rebuild, and let me look on here.
First page is.
The new
The
dock
new
bid?
dock is the top option, option
Okay.
2. Yeah, and the
Okay.
repair is option 1 on the second page.
So can we, so I'll, I guess, amend my motion and clarify that it is the new dock bid, option 2. Do that,
Or you can just,
or just
we took action to go to bid.
go to
You
bid?
can just
Okay.
Say if the court wants to entertain whichever option.
I move we do option 2.
Second.
So
Right.
the bid will be specific to an entirely new structure.
Yep.
And
Okay.
then will we have, I mean, this is a little different of a project, like, coming to, that they'll have to come look at. Will it have a different time frame on it than normal, or even put out to the local?
You mean the platform as far as putting the information out there?
Well, yes.
Yeah,
I'm saying to those, I mean, we have, at least four, maybe 5 local dock
Yeah.
built, so that they know it's
A new build.
well, yeah. Yeah, I guess so that they know the specs.
Yeah, we'll put all the information out. We have to, so we'll put all that out.
Okay.
And we'll probably, I don't know, with that many businesses that do that up and down the lake, you would think they would be bidding on it.
Yeah, they just have to get out there first
Yes.
and take a look at it, obviously, so it
Right.
just need enough time for them to, which I guess we can just notify them it's coming or something, and maybe they'll be looking for it. Yeah.
So there's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Only other thing I wanted to bring up is if anybody gets the chance, if you see any of our park maintenance staff out and about, give them a pat on the back, give them a popsicle, something. It is hot out there. These guys are, I can't say enough about our park staff. They literally go above and beyond every single day, whether I'm begging them to put on Homer costumes, and Robin too, bless her heart, she's had this Homer costume on in this heat. But those guys doing these day parks in the bathrooms at the park, I cannot tell you how many times they go to, especially Waterfield, Aurora, some of these places, and there's fecal matter smeared on the walls and on the floors, and stuff that you would not think about our county employees having to deal with on a daily basis, and they do it every day and are somehow still smiling and joking and, you know, willing to help kids in the park and stuff. So if you get a chance to thank them or just tell them that they're doing a good job, because they really do. They take so much pride in the parks, and they are the ones that get tore up if the mowing gets behind. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll get to it. But they are so proud of the work that they do there. So if you get a chance, thank the guys and let them know that they're doing a good job.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Thank you all for raising the money for the match from Lions Club, too.
Thank you.
It was an effort.
There's no correspondence, old business. Approve the minutes of June 7th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. They made a correction on the new business. This is the resolution for the county roads, and I think the pad with Roy and the code, you guys figured out there was a numerical difference on one of the roads, so they added that. So we're doing this resolution. This is the Marsh County Fiscal Court resolution, whereas the Marsh County Fiscal Court agrees the following roads on the attached Appendix A are part of the county road system, whereas the Marsh County Fiscal Court agrees the following roads on the attached Appendix B are not part of the county road system, whereas the Marsh County Fiscal Court maintains these roads on Appendix A. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Marsh County Fiscal Court agrees the listed roads on Appendix A are part of the county road system, and those listed on Appendix B are not part of the county road system. Motion to
So moved.
approve the resolution. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B on the new business is going to be the earthquake coverage quotes. It's from Clint Combs. Option 1 is for $78,000, an entirely different carrier who was willing to write full limits. However, their deductible is less advantageous than the prior deductible of just $25,000. The deductible in this case would be 2% of the TIV of all building damage, or a minimum of $25,000 per occurrence. Option 2 is far less coverage, but it comes in more affordable. Their deductible is similar at 1%, minimum of $50,000 per occurrence. We had some discussion as far as the prior occurrence. Do you remember what was discussed on that?
I think I forwarded you guys the email if you guys had a chance to read through that. Our prior coverage was $20 million with $25,000 deductible, and it cost us $50,609 per year. So for the same coverage, we pay about $78,000 this coming year.
So the 1% is that $10 million of coverage then? Or is it the same amount of coverage, but just?
No, it is.
No.
Option 2 is $5 million limits, 1% of loss or $50,000 minimum deductible, and it will cost $52,000. So around what we paid this current year to have significantly less coverage.
Do you have a suggestion?
Well, I mean, it's for the coming budget year, so as long as we can make the budget work out, you could really do whichever one you wanted. Let me see if I have that.
Depends on who you're asking, Jason.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
It's obviously a lot more money with the 78,000 compared to the 50 we were paying, but 5 million limits wouldn't even be a fraction of rebuilding the courthouse. I was talking to Graves County, their replacement on their courthouse is gonna run 24 million.
Did you find it?
Jason had asked about what our values are. It wasn't emailed to me, it was printed to me. It's a big, thick book, workbook. It's probably filed away downstairs somewhere. I can look for that for you while you're in executive session, if you want to wait and talk about this again after executive session. I believe the courthouse itself, though, is valued at like 15 million. I feel like if that's what it was.
I mean, it's 4 times the coverage for, what, 50% more or so cost. So 4 times to get 50%. As much as I don't know.
I will say that when, in our conversations, Clint told me that the reason the other company's moving away from insuring in this area is because, you know,
They think it's coming?
yes, they look at all the signs and there's more mini quakes per year or something that statistically means that we will have a large earthquake in the near future. So they stopped covering us because they don't want to have a major loss. So, I mean, but in the scheme of the earth, near future could be 10 years from now, so.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes in the Bible,
Yeah.
a chapter was
Right, exactly.
400 years after the next one, so, right? Is that right, Justin?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Bible scholar.
Lenders don't require earthquake insurance, so that leaves your
That's
pool
true, too.
less than what it should be.
Let me look. They're all budgeted together in one line, so I don't know. I could look and see. Okay. In this, are you asking about? Or the current year budget?
When would this be paid? Would it be paid next?
Yes, in this 2023 fiscal year. So it's budgeted at what we pay currently. So we have it a lot for a difference.
I don't know. I'm not an insurance guy. To be honest with you, I'd probably lean towards keeping it the same, cost-wise. is, I mean, financially, I don't know that I don't know. This is what I do whenever they send me something asking about earthquake coverage from my own insurance. I'm like, nobody wants to be the one to.
Oh, I will. I will support the increased limits. I mean, if you're going to be insured, be insured. 5 million wouldn't touch this. If it's total loss, and it'll all be an earthquake claim.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
I'll second that. Second it.
So option 2, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Item C on the new business, lease agreements. Let's see. I'm just going to go down, and we do this each year in the month of June. We already have an existing lease agreement with the West Kentucky Educational Cooperative, West Kentucky Allied Services, Morris County Rescue Squad, and CASA. The new one that we have is with the Disabled American Veterans Chapter 118, which is downstairs. But when I say new, we actually have this agreement for the first time. We figured we need to have them in an agreement with us since. So all these are the same as far as the agreement. This is just a renewal each year. And they intend to stay in one of our buildings, one of our facilities, to provide service to our residents.
Move that we approve all of the renewal lease agreements.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And you've got, another motion says all. We've got 5, and those are I know you've got the list for those.
You need them named for any reason? Okay. All righty, I will do that, Jason. It is the CASA, Disabled American Veterans, Chapter 118, Rescue Squad, West Kentucky Allied, and West Kentucky Educational Co-op. It's all 5, right?
Yep. Just show the record to reflect that. Let's see. I think we can knock out the E911 personnel change real quick. Just a part-time employee form, information form. This is the Morris County 911, Erica Jenkins, part-time, the full-time, at a wage rate of $13.70.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. It's 10 o'clock. We need to go into executive session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And that'll be for litigation and personnel.
Litigation, personnel. We'll go ahead and, well, we're already in session. Going to go back to, we're out of executive session. We're going to go back to item B on the new business, the earthquake coverage quotes. The motion was for option 1. I want to have the fiscal court clerk show the record to show that it's option 1. I had made the comment in the discussion as option 2, but it's actually option 1, which is the higher end.
And I did give you guys the statement of values. It's on your Commissioner Drive. And I was mistaken, the courthouse is insured at, I think, 8 million, but the Judicial Center is more. It's the most highly valued property that we have right now on there. And you can look through it and if you have any questions on it.
All right. Item E, HVAC issues. I think we were in a budget workshop when Brad had advised us this is a continuous problem, but had advised us that it was recommended to get the unit fixed, and that was from HMC. It was about $20,000. They have portable, HMC's got some rental portable air conditioning units down there. That's about $3,000 a month. And so I think we're pulling that out of the other county maintenance line, which is about $14,000 to $16,000. So that should at least cover June. But the actual quote, it's going to take probably just as the judicial building timeline, it's going to take us in the next fiscal year. It's not something that'd be easily fixed. 911 should be moved into their new facility by next month. So they've got the rental that's down there now. It's not, it's doing what it can do, but it's not solving the issue. So the sheriff's department, the section of the building that they're in, is going to have that unit replaced. That's about $20,000.
So it's something we need to address in the budget
Yeah, I mean, that's,
for Friday.
it's an old facility down there. But at this point, some of the temperatures were mid-80s.
Yep.
And it's not going to, we can take action today, but some of the stuff, by the time it gets here, will, just like the judicial building, we're going to be in the next month, maybe August.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to replace it.
The motion is second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next question, and I feel Erica beaming over here, is where do we want to pull that money from? It's
For
about
the-
20,000. It's just under.
For the next year's budget, or for?
Yeah, I mean, we won't get any invoices in for it until the next year's, I mean, we're not gonna get any invoices in the next, ever how many days that we've got.
So then we would
So we
have
would need to, yeah, we would need to make
put it
sure that
in
we,
the next year's budget. Where
some
where
items
we wanna
around.
Put that, increase a line or identify where we want that to come from.
Do you have any suggestions?
are there other items that we need to discuss for the budget, more than just this? If it's just this, I can try to figure it out and have it ready for Friday and some options.
I'm kind of jumping ahead. We have to, obviously, under item I, set a time for a special call meeting, which we have identified the 24th for the second reading of the budget, which is this week.
Friday.
And then we have a final, kind of like the end of the year, where she does the final bills and claims.
And transfers
And
usually.
transfers, so we looked at the 29th.
That would be the best day. I don't need anything other than, I should only need transfers and some bills that day,
And
whatever's trickled in between now and then.
And that will be the 29th. I know we all got the depositions, but that should be just to come in, finalize. It shouldn't take that long. But that will give her time to get a more accurate number for us. Or at least finalize. This,
Whatever time you guys can do. I'll anticipate only taking like just a few minutes.
Where are the times? Would that have come from Barry or from you? Deposition.
On that email I sent you yesterday.
Oh, they were on that one?
Yeah, everybody had their special time.
Okay.
it looks, if you're looking at, let's say this Friday, and I know we're in the middle of one item, but I is kind of tying into this. So we're jumping ahead to item I.
Oh, so actually, those are the 30th. So the 29th is not an issue, right? Our depositions are the 30th. Oh,
29th and 30th.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
So-
Okay. But they're in the afternoon. Or are you wanting to set the time for Friday first?
Yeah, let's do Friday, this Friday first.
I don't care.
2 o'clock? I'm good with 2 o'clock.
All right.
Okay, so we'll just make a note of that. And then we'll jump to the following
Second reading.
week.
So the 29th, I'm at 1. No, you're at 1. Oh, or the completion of yours. So 1 o'clock. If you're looking at the 29th, ours are on ours won't matter. It's y'all's depositions. So, and y'all's are in the afternoon, right? So it just needs.
I start 10:30
Oh, yours is at 10:30. Oh, okay.
on Wednesday.
So do 9:30?
Well, I had to
no.
push mine back because I've got a doctor's appointment.
Oh, I'm open.
4.
so-
And here's the thing, all we need is a quorum, because what she has on this date is, I mean, you're going to see the bills and claims, so it literally is not going to take that long, but it gives her time to do what she has to do from now before we meet on the 29th. And as she said, the transfers as well. 4 p.m. on the 29th. We should be done. Okay. Okay, so we got that established. That'll give her time, I don't know where she just went, but that would give her time to identify some possible areas where the money can come from. Because of the logistics issues that we're having across the country, we went ahead and told them to go ahead and start ordering the items, so that way we can get out in front of the scheduling issues. So we will identify 24th where the monies can come from. Okay. Let me. Board appointments real quick. I've got a few. I'll have some on the 24th. I'm sure the 29th as well. Right now, East Marshall Fire, Kevin Vaughn, his term expired. My appointment would be to appoint Kevin Vaughn for another 3-year term to expire June 30th of 2025.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Palma Brownsburg Fire, Donald Kelby, his term is to expire. My appointment would be Donald to another 3-year term to expire June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Let's see. Hospital Board, Gary Shimwell served the multiple times that he can serve, so there is no reappointment for Gary. So my appointment for the next term would be Lauren Mann for a term of a 4-year, June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Refuse Board, Donald Copeland's term is expiring. My recommendation or my appointment would be Ronnie Lovett for a 4-year term, June 30th, 2026 expired.
So moved.
Second,
So that's replacing,
Donald.
which is, okay, so we're replacing someone in the 3rd
District 1.
with District 1.
District 1 didn't have a representative.
Okay.
You
All
had
right.
one in,
Oh, I don't make the appointments based off the districts.
I know, but
Ronnie Levitt.
But Ronnie would be replacing Donald.
okay. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Refuse Board, Bruce Lyle's term expires. My appointment would be Mitch Adams for a 4-year term, June 30th, 2026 to expire.
I hate to see. Bruce is an asset to that board.
Is that the only vacancy there?
Those two.
Those two. It is as well, or would be as well.
Hey, it's here. We won't starve today.
I'll make the motion, Judge.
Okay, there's a motion. I'll second it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And I'll wait, Jason, to hear from you on,
I've already made contact with one of the board members, and I'll contact the chief today as
Okay.
well.
all right. And I'll have some more appointments. It seems like the month of June is, there's a lot. Okay. Transfers.
Okay, there's a handful of transfers that are for the sheriff's department at his request. There's a transfer for utilities, courthouse utilities. There's a transfer for equipment for the road, and then there's a transfer for fiscal court filming, and then one that the parks department requested. And none of those require bank transfers. There is a transient tax transfer of $14,726.31.
I move we approve the transfers.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then the bank transfers, they're all OTA transfers to finish out the year for what was budgeted for the subsidies. And one of those is a correction of a subsidy, but they're all the ones that were budgeted to make those even out and equal the budget at the end of the year.
Bills and claims. Is there any reason not to pay or deny payment? Yeah. I thought we just did.
We have to do them separate.
Oh, okay. Need a motion for the bank transfer.
Move we approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. No, good catch. Is there any reason to deny payment of the bills and claims? Hearing none, let the clerk record that the bills and claims are to be paid. Under I, we said 2 p.m. for this Friday, and then 4 p.m. for next week on the 29th. And Laurel, you are the final thing for the day. You are holding up them from eating pizza.
Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So 6 months later, let's see, our projects are looking pretty good within the FEMA reimbursement process. We have received a payment just recently for half of our debris. It turns out to be half, because we did the 100% time period and the 90% time period. And for the record, that's nearly, as you talk at KCO conferences or whatever, you'll find that that's nearly record timing. So that's good on everyone. The asphalt, we don't know whether we'll be reimbursed by FEMA yet or not. It's still making its way through the system. We have a little bit of a complication in that they changed the category of work, which the end result being instead of 18 months to complete the project, we only have 6 months to complete the project, which it's already been 6 months, so we've already requested an extension. The state has authorized a 6-month extension, which means we'll have to complete all of our asphalt by December. Whether we're able to do that or not, don't know, probably not, in which case we'll have to ask FEMA for an extension. They sometimes don't love to give extensions, so we'll want to, we'll do our very best to draft an appropriate extension request, but we should not delay in any asphalt work because it's possible that we would not be granted that extension.
So, make sure I understand. So the actual paving has to be completed.
Before December 9th, or by December
Right.
9th. And the reason is, if a tree fell in the tornado and uprooted the asphalt, they call that a permanent work project because it was damaged by the tornado. If it was from the utility trucks, the search and rescue, the volunteers, and the debris trucks, they're calling that damage from the Category B emergency protective measures, so therefore it should be a Category B project. The difference being one has a much longer time frame for completion versus the other.
The other. Is the work to be performed, is what is going to be time consuming?
Well, asphalt, you may not be able to lay asphalt usually after Thanksgiving. The plants are usually closed, or if you put down that asphalt, it may come right back up because it's not going to adhere appropriately in the colder weather. So, we'll submit the extension request, assuming that they approve the project. This is one from the beginning that I think that we've had conversations like, I don't know whether FEMA's going to approve this one on this disaster or not. Asphalt's pretty costly, and they don't necessarily love being the #1 asphalt provider of the United States, or funder.
Yeah. I can understand that.
So that's the only thing that, as we go through the process, I've said, I just don't know about this one. 6 months later, I still just don't know about this one. We're almost close to them having a decision. And it's not like one person is the decider, because it touches about 27 hands. It becomes more of like, no one will ever say yes to it, they just won't say no to it. 27 people of not saying no. So we're about halfway through that. So cross your fingers for the other 13. If we do not get that money from FEMA, we did apply for it under our SAFE grant, our state SAFE grant funds, and we have not been funded that money yet, but we were told if it doesn't get approved, come back. So I'm going to hold them to that.
Yeah.
That money could all be gone by the time we go back and ask for that. Or they could have way more money because other people have had to pay back funds that they thought they weren't going to get from FEMA, because even within the SAFE grant, they can't double dip, or they can't receive the payment twice from FEMA and the state. I love the idea of the SAFE grant and the state elected officials doing something. But this has added a whole nother layer of validation and review, both on the FEMA projects and all others. So it's added a layer of complexity where good intentions were meant, but the outcome is a big old pain in the neck for me.
Yeah.
But that's why you hired me,
Yeah.
so it'd be my pain, not yours.
And it's because of the potential
Right.
double dipping.
Right.
Or,
So
or
now
both.
FEMA's going in and adding big comments into each project and into the terms and conditions of each grant that says something to the effect of, you don't get the money twice.
Yeah.
You get it. So, I mean, I will deal with that. I'll keep us on the straight and narrow. But if we don't get the money from FEMA, all is not lost. We will have the funds hopefully available from SAFE Grant.
Safe.
Now, what we do have in SAFE Grant that I think the court needs to consider taking action on in the next 1 to 2 months is our wet debris money. And we do have the money that we have received. We were kind of waiting to see if our second debris project, if any of that debris was not approved, and we're probably about a month out on that, so we'll know soon whether we're going to have to use that money on our other FEMA project. But if we don't, and we shouldn't, if everyone plays by the rules, then we shouldn't. But assuming that we will have that money, we're able to use it on debris, ineligible debris, so the concrete the driveways, the foundations, and then wet debris. And so we have this complexity of FEMA projects, NRCS projects, and then state SAFE grant projects. We have our NRCS projects, which we think we know the sites for. And so if the sites are not in those NRCS projects and they still need debris cleaned out of the streams, we're able to use our SAFE grant money for that. But I think we have the final list for NRCS, and I need to work with Andy on that, the floodplain coordinator. And then I think probably come back before the fiscal court and say, are there any locations that are not here that you're aware of that need to be cleaned out?
I know we discussed today, and I know you're aware, Brittany sent you the
Yes.
40.
Where the wet
1,000,
debris damaged
yeah.
the dock. So that's eligible for this. This is a perfect example of that wet debris. There was wet debris, it was put on the dock was needed to gather the wet debris.
Does the 300,000 cover, I can't remember, you and I had discussed, but Andy was saying the NRCS, all of that was approved, but the actual administration of it, for lack of better terms, they do not.
They don't pay it.
They don't pay
Right.
it. So does the 300,000
Could-
funds
yeah. Yeah,
could
you
go
could-
to cover that?
Right, so if you want me, you could, Andy's administration, so Andy's time, and then if you want me to assist Andy with that NRCS grant, then we could cover that under the SAFE grant.
Okay.
Because really, when you're ensuring the eligibility of the NRCS by cross-referencing it against the non-NRCS or the SAFE grant, then it all has to be combined, and the administration of that all falls. It should be done in conjunction, is what I'm trying to say, and you need the administration for that.
Yeah.
So maybe the court needs to decide whether to have ER Assist work on that with Andy?
Yes, I talked to Andy this morning, and he was saying that obviously the administration of it, it's been approved, so we're good to go with what they went out and looked at for NRCS. But the administration has to be.
Oh, it's going to be burdensome.
Yeah, so Andy doesn't have the time, so I would suggest the court make a decision to go ahead and have ER Assist do the administration of that grant, because it's going to have to be done by somebody.
Correct.
And Andy's, I don't think Andy's, I mean, he's
And-
capable, but he just
Right.
doesn't have
Well,
the time.
Clear schedule.
Yeah, yeah,
The complexity with NRCS is the operational work has to be done by October. Otherwise, the NRCS money evaporates.
and the problem still remains.
Right.
And then it falls on us.
Right, there's
So,
no extension possible.
Yes.
If you don't get it done by October, you don't get the money.
Yeah, and I would ask the court to go ahead and approve ER Assist to administer that grant, because the timeline, and we don't want to lose those monies. Because if that does happen, then we still are dealing with the environmental, I call it
Right, and this
environmental
benefits,
issue.
these NRCS sites benefit, one of the sites is on City of Benton sewer lines. Like, it has more complexities than just, like, the City of Benton can't do their FEMA project until the county does their NRCS project. Like,
Gotcha.
it's a tangled web, yes.
What are you going to get into as far as easements on
Yeah.
getting to these streams? That's going to be
Yeah, so that's part of
complicated.
those complexities, and we have to get working on all of those because it's June. We also have to do an RFP, much like we did for the debris RFP, for the FEMA RFP. We can't use the same one because I didn't put a line item in there for, NRCS pays differently than FEMA. So NRCS pays by the linear foot of stream. And really, all the contractors want to know all the sites so they can go look at them and see how complex it is to get in and out of the locations. But yeah, so the easements have to be in place. Then we have to look at each site, and I think there's 19 sites, and have to decide, are we gonna, they call it burn and bury, but burn the debris on site, if that's even possible, and then bury it, meaning, put dirt over it. Or are we going to be able to haul it out and take it to the landfill? And in some locations, it'll make sense to haul it out. In some locations, we're like, we would have to have, 3-mile access road. So if we can, they'll have to burn it in place. And that will be part of, the locations, the easements, and then deciding burn in place or haul to site. But yeah, we have to get the easements, the environmental burn or haul decided, and then get the contractor working and complete it by October. Which October sounds like a long time away, but it's not. But your question, how do you get the easements? Yeah, well, yep. Are you aware of anyone that does not want to offer easements?
No, I just know a lot of those areas.
Yeah.
You're going to have to go quite a distance to
Yeah.
get to it, possibly across 2 or 3 landowners.
Yeah,
And, yeah.
yeah. And then the contractors will have to put in their bids and or in their pricing, if they damage any, they'll be responsible for that. like, instead of, their pricing will have to include any repairs.
Right.
So they'll have to include unexpected or anticipated, if they mess up someone's lawn, getting to that location, they're going to have to repair it.
So
I move we approve that ER Assist
Thank you.
do the grant writing
Second.
work for the NRS.
motion is second. All those in favor say aye. 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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
What to read? We have, our kind of only outstanding issues then, Judge, are our hazard mitigation grant and then our KYTC reimbursement, which I'm going to work on the KYTC reimbursement this week. Do we need anything from the court to proceed on the hazard mitigation storm shelter?
The two Christian schools were approved and the Miracle League was approved. We had briefly discussed as far as the fiscal court helping with and when I say helping the Christian schools, and correct me where I'm wrong, Laurel, here, the Christian schools are going to be their own applicant agent. The portion of their design project that qualifies for a safe room or the shelter, that portion, there's a table quantified as far as the space, and that equates to a dollar amount. That dollar amount, if approved through that process, because they have to do a BCA, that's the next stage that they have to do. But if approved, that amount is what I'm talking about the fiscal court helping. That, let's just say the Miracle League was 1.1 million, so let's just say it's 1.1 million. The schools have to spend those monies first, and then they get reimbursed. That 1.1 for the actual safe room, we would cover through our line of credit, and then once it's approved and it's completed and it's reimbursed, that 1.1 goes back to the line of credit. So that's the relationship that I'm asking the court to help the schools in. Now, with that, we would have, some legal documents drafted for that relationship to show our portion and understanding of what each party is committed to. Now, the next step, which is the BCA, the schools, they're going to be their own applicant agent. As they go through that process, I think it's good for them to know that we are or we're not going to be a partner in this because they have to make decisions as well. So I'm asking the court if that is something that we want to do, to go ahead and just commit today that we are willing. We're not doing any final slap of the table because there's several processes the way I understand it, but we are willing to go down this process with them so that we can get these shelters in our community. Is that the best way to explain it?
Right, yeah, I mean, if you want to essentially act as the bank, then, that's a great help
Yeah.
to them.
Didn't West Marshall Fire Department receive one also?
And the public schools.
Okay.
So, but I have our ER Assist has a relationship with West Marshall. We've been their applicant agent through the FEMA Public Assistance Program. So we are helping West Marshall, and then the schools also contracted with ER Assist to help them when they're, so they each are probably okay, but West Marshall may want that same relationship if the county's acting as the bank for the Christian schools. West Marshall may look to the county as well.
This process, isn't it a two-step process?
Oh, it's probably a
They-
20-step process.
They've been through the first round.
Right.
Isn't there another
Oh,
round
yeah.
to
We're-
determine if they're
you're
even going to
years
get
away.
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Years. So the safe rooms were selected to move forward. So they were selected by the state to move forward to the federal. Meaning FEMA doesn't even know about these projects yet. The state selects the projects to move forward. So then the next step is to do the benefit cost analysis. I know the projects all meet the benefit cost analysis because I did it before we did the initial selection, because I don't want to put forward a project that's not going to meet. But I just did back and napkin math. FEMA's going to want to see the full 20-page Excel macro with, data and stats. So I'm confident all of the shelters will make the BCA. But the schools are, because they are not entities of the fiscal court, ER-Assist does not have a relationship with those schools to be their applicant agent unless or until the county directs me to do the work and the county pays me to do the work.
So, okay, I thought we had already committed to be the bank in our last,
We had discussed, and it seemed to me that everybody was in agreement that we would do that. But we did not take an official action.
we did not.
And what I'm asking as far as an official action is to go through this process, to have legal documents drafted up, what that would look like. All this
Yeah.
simultaneously will go through
Right,
a whole lengthy
right.
review process.
Right.
So I'm for it, but just logistically, once we know that we are, that they are approved, and then that we start funding that project, can you give me any kind of indication on time frame
Reimbursement time?
wise? Yeah.
It's a long time. I mean, it may be 6 to 18 months reimbursement cycle, same as FEMA public assistance. And it's very similar to the problems or the reimbursement issues within FEMA public assistance. You have to spend the money to get the money.
Yeah.
But then once you turn it in,
So is that interest any different than the
not on
FEMA?
hazard mitigation.
So we are going to be out
You're
that
going to
money?
need it. Yep.
Okay.
Well, yes, but in the documents that we
Right.
produce,
Right. The
we
schools
can
could be-
identify
Yeah.
what that is
Yeah.
covered.
So
That
you're
makes
saying,
sense.
You're saying 6 to 18 months after completion.
I mean, it could be, so we could do it in phases, but just don't expect that it's like a draw on a house where you get the money, the same week, because it's not. It could be,
Right.
it could be much longer than you're comfortable with.
And we don't know, I mean, we can't even say now that any one or any of them would get final approval.
Correct, right, because they were just selected. The things that could cause these to just stop in their tracks are, one, it doesn't make the benefit cost. I'm fairly confident that they are. Two, that there's an environmental issue, cultural assessment, or it's in the floodplain or floodway. One of the locations has floodplain surrounding it, so depending on the parking, it should still be okay based on, again, quick back and napkin, but that was not, it was not an engineer. It was like, yeah, that looks like about appropriate parking.
you have to be talking Hardin.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, it's
Yes.
floodplain all around. For sure. Then a sunbeam shining just on that location.
Yep.
And
So-
again, this today would be to let the schools know that we're we're committed to go through this process, and they have the same concerns too. And basically what I told them is that until the final signature between both parties, each party can pull out. They can walk away from it.
Right, and maybe you just commit to do half.
Half or yes. So, you know, but
Or,
to
or being the bank for half, not
Yeah.
providing
Yeah.
half.
But for this initial portion to commit that, yes, we're going to walk through this with you, here's our intent, but this is by no means a final signature saying we're committed to.
This will
'Cause
start
we
the
don't even
process to be
know.
able to get those agreements written and us take a look at them as to,
Well, I think with the Christian schools, it's our commitment saying, yes, we're in this with you. We're willing to support this as we go through that process. And as we go through the process, you're talking maybe a couple of years, I don't know. But through that process, things can change, and they have the same concerns.
yeah.
And this is just to let them know we're beside you on this. But if something happens down the road, we're not going to hold each other to the stone until we get to that point 3 years down the road when it's a go, or if it's a go, we both sign at that point, then we're committed. Does that make sense? There's-
Not that. it's-
In probably 3 months, they will need a letter. I mean, it could be today if they were ready to move forward, but they, much like the Fiscal Court, I think we have the letter for it that says that you are committed to the Miracle League Safe Room Shelter, and you're willing to pay the local share. They will have to provide that same letter. So there's, oddly enough, there's not a letter anywhere in the process that says you understand that this is reimbursement only and could take 18 months. And that probably, that probably should be in place, but you are not committing to providing the local share. You're just committing to helping them if they can't get their own loan. Is right, or
Yes,
or they
we
don't wanna
are.
do their own loan?
We are there to facilitate that
To
if
help
that's
with
what they
justice.
choose.
And in return, they will have some type of agreement, I assume,
With us.
right,
Absolutely.
for opening the shelter under
Yes,
certain.
yes. So it would also encompass the surrounding population.
Did when we did that line of credit, we did it for 2 years, didn't we?
It's supposed to be renewable
Every
every year.
year.
It is? I thought the rate was a 2-year commitment, though.
Now, the rate may be, but I would think that during that, when it matures, that would be a negotiable piece if the rates go up or down.
Maybe it was just a 12-month, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was a 2-year for some reason. Maybe not. Okay. Tis what it is.
The great philosophers say.
Yeah, is that what are you saying I'm a great
Yeah,
philosopher?
yeah.
So if the court were to take action, Jason, the best way to, for the court to put this into a motion to where we're committed to go through this process with them, but we're not at the signature page,
Right,
I guess.
exploratory.
Exploratory.
So we are engaged, but we are not quite married. Is that what we're saying?
To a degree, yes.
Yeah.
It's another way to look
Like
at
a
it.
promise ring.
Right.
Right?
We're in the vehicle.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to start talking. And
Okay.
then you
Yeah.
see how it sounds.
Okay.
So it would be a motion to
or would this be better? I'm sorry. Why not give you time this 2 p.m. on the 24th? We can put that on there. We got it this week as a special call meeting.
Well, you're not going to be here
On the 24th is
Well, we
Thursday?
don't, we don't need
No,
Laurel
you-
here.
You don't need me.
Yeah, but if it gives you time to,
You can send it to her. She says it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. We're in no
I'm
rush.
around, I'm around this week. We've got a couple site inspections. We're out taking some pictures of asphalt and other fun things.
From what I understand, the court, from what I understand, is just from my observation, we're in this, but to get the motion right, we got time. The BCA will start.
Right.
I mean, that's going to happen.
Right.
So we're in no, I think this Thursday we can bring
Be
a,
better if it was just like a motion and reflected in the minutes, or would it be better to have a resolution?
I don't think that I need anything specifically, or that they need anything specifically to go forward for FEMA's purposes. At some point, they'll have to sign a document that says that, you know, they're responsible for the costs.
So if it's just reflected in the minutes, that should be okay.
Right, as long
Yeah.
as
so we can
it's,
just do that.
I don't think it's a document that I need or that KYEM needs or FEMA needs. That's just how you're facilitating safe rooms in your community.
Yes, okay.
And if that extends then to West Marshall VFD as well, I mean, that's a decision, because I think the public schools, I think, are okay on their own. But so of all the safe rooms that were awarded or selected to proceed, there were 3 nonprofits in the county. And that's all I really have from the FEMA front. Not much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
till next time.
Yeah.
Till next time.
Keep up
Thanks,
the good
Laurel.
work.
Hey, thank you. Oh, this is my intern, Colton Smith.
Colton?
Nice to meet you.
This is his 8th day on the job, so he knows it all.
From
It's from Northwest Arkansas, from
Northwest
Fayetteville,
Arkansas. Okay. All right, neat.
He's
Well,
wearing
watching,
his,
Are you watching the College World Series?
Yeah, of course.
a little bit.
Who's big gonna win this year?
Thank you.
Thanks, Laurel.
Thanks.
All right. No further.
Quick question
Yeah.
for you before we adjourn. Just, have you received the official notification from the state about the announcement yesterday that we were one of the counties that are going to receive the broadband grant? We did.
Which,
It's $89 million, not to us, but that'd be great. But the total that was awarded yesterday was $89 million, and our project, along with Callaway County, was one of the 2 projects that were, but maybe they didn't.
was that the
send it.
one with WK&T?
Mhm.
Okay, so the 2.4. I wonder if I'm going through here, I'm wondering if they notified WK&T. since
They
were the
said it was through
applicant.
some system. They notify the counties maybe through some system that I have no idea what they were talking about.
Oh. Yeah. So she called, yeah.
The what? You
There
got it?
is. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect. Perfect. Yep. They're working out some red tape, but, so that's 2.4 million that will go. Don't know yet.
They still don't know the area, of course, but I know it mentioned us and Callaway together. I was thinking was like 800 homes, but Callaway's might be much bigger. He just mentioned Callaway and Marshall's project together because he was going through the actual broadband companies. So WK&T's project was us and Callaway.
Good.
So, good news.
All right.
Okay. I move we adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.